Just checking the Calving pens. It's bloody freezing today. It's Sunday afternoon. I'm proper shivering in that parlour. It's on times like this you wish you had sides on it, but you go all summer beautiful with no flies and whatnot. So if I can stick this out, then we're well away. Well, we've got quite a simple system on this spring calving unit. We've got 7 colours, and every time a cow calves, each day is a different colour. So Sunday's blue, and then every time a cow calves, I spray him on the tail with blue, and that means she calved on Sunday. And when we go to put the milk in the tank too, you see the colour on the tail, and you know what day it is. It's really, really simple, really straightforward, because there's quite a few of us in the parlour at the moment. So instead of having numbers, and another thing, we ain't got no freeze brands on cows, so we can't like write down freeze brands and like go up and look at the board, write down your ear tags and whatnot, but then you've got to run it around the front and check. So this is a pretty simple system. One here calves, so as soon as they calve, we come in and spray them. Because here's another one, see, still quite fat, had a calf, and if I left her till tomorrow morning, if she like ran away from that calf and didn't want nothing to do with it, you'd have a hard job to tell. So there we go. And that's like tail paint spray, so that's still on there for ages. Everything goes through that electric cell count testing machine at the moment. I was doing it with CMT last year, but I find, and that works well, but that only shows you really, like, you've got to really like look, you know, it is pretty straightforward actually, but it will only keep it under 400, I find. And you can go up to 300 with that cell count machine. If we put in only anything under 300, then that gives our average of like 100, 150 at the most. And it's only like when it jumps up, you know, you've got a cow with mastitis or whatnot. And we've been getting a bit of mastitis, what's been jumping the cell count at. So there's a bit of a pain in the ass, because these cows don't tend to get clots. It's subclinical mastitis. What's a bloody nightmare, that subclinical stuff, because you have got to go through it with a CMT then to find them. So there we go. Right, it's Monday morning. It's probably the driest day of the week. Looking at the weather on my phone, it's looking pretty wet and snowy for the rest of the week. So we've took a lot of muck out, still got a lot there. We've sucked a lot of water out of this pit, and we've took a lot up on the pit back at the main dairy. This is an all year round calving unit here. So I'm just down to dry cows at the moment. So we cleaned the dry cows out the other day. Oh, the cow cake has just turned up. If you see it there, dry pass. We're doing well on cow cake and blend this year. Actual margins are looking pretty good, even though we're flat rate feeding down here. So well, it's not completely flat, it's flat rate down the barrier. Everything gets 6 kilos, but in the parlour everything's ranging from 3 to 1 kilo. Nothing gets nothing. So, and I think it's working out quite well, because the dry cows are coming in really well. Mastitis on this farm is practically 0 at the moment, but I don't like to big it up too much, because it can soon turn around straight away. So we just drawed all these dry cows down. It's a quiet day today, and it's a quiet day up on the spring unit. Only had 2 this morning up on the spring unit. So update up on the spring unit, 188 have calved in, so we're doing well. It's gone a little bit quiet now, so I can imagine we've come to the end of a sex semen. We've done 220 straws of sex straws, and we've probably had about 130, 140. It's your job now, because we chucked in Frisian bulls straight away after. And the odd night I see, I got rid of my diary, I got a little bit paranoid about cows bulling and not spotting the bullers. I let the bull out at night. Well, I say the bull, I let about 15 out at night, and I think that rounded a few up and got a few in. But nevertheless, it's a tightish block. So we could do, I'm not too worried about it being quiet at the moment, because we could do have a few calved in March, so then they don't all dry up come November. We like can string it out, because milking through this winter works really well. Like, it's hard on the cell counts and VAT scans, but if you're like on top of it, and like you've got less cows anyway, so it worked extremely well. We had to have 2 people in the parlour, but it's still, you know, we'd only be potting around looking for things to do, so it worked quite well. We've got these young stock here. We separated this shed into 2 bits, big and small, because some were falling behind. We've got an ab-live cake feeder in here for these, and they're eating silage. October silage we're feeding at the moment, so we can clear the silage clamp away up the get back to the good stuff up on the main clamp. Just get in the barrier. Right, here we go. I'll just show you something. We had a barner. He was confirmed not in calf, and we were going to send him on. He was going to go on last week, but he didn't have a tag. This one here, bagging up really hard now. It's like, we're glad she's in calving, she's going to calve, because she'd be like a goodish cow, I think. She's been dry for quite a long time, so it's not, you know, the actual calving, you know, her lactation is going to be a bit out. But yeah, she would have went on. She would have made a lot of money too, because farmers are making a good price at the moment. But no, she's bagging her. She's going to calve. So we've kept her. Everything else though, bent down with barley straw at the moment, because that's all we got left on this farm is barley straw. What's all right? It's not bad stuff. They eat it as well as lie on it. So this is a shed we cleaned out the other day. I've done a little video on it. Starting to build up a little bit more with straw. Hopefully it's the last time before turnout. But this week, looking at the weather, it's not looking that great. It's going to be wet, snowing, horrible. So put no fertiliser on at all at the moment. Not even, we've got some like ammonia, so we haven't chucked that on. I just said ammonia, didn't I? I meant urea. You chuck no urea on at the moment. The ground conditions are really good for muck spreading, slurry tanking and what have you. So we're getting some muck out, getting ready for the spring crops, what we've done planned. Because we've done none of that either yet, even though you could, but it's a little bit cold, isn't it? The urea will be the end of week, going in the next week, I reckon. We'll put a bit of that on, because we've got a load of that in the shed. Nitrogen's way off on this farm, unless it like warms up overnight. Here's the cows, dry cows all eating down barrier here. So this yard here, sometimes we straw down, but we've calved a lot in, so we don't need the space. But what we've got to do in this dry weather is chuck a lot of sand down around here. So I've just let some dry cows in, what we dried off, and they've been outside over breakfast hour waiting to come in. I've just let them in so they don't fight. But yeah, just loads of sand on this floor. Because this is the time of year when you go off, you do your fertiliser and whatever, you come back and the bloody cow's done a split or whatever. And then he's practically finished then. It takes ages to get it back to normal, get that like, you've got to have shackles on him. But plenty of sand, plenty of sharp sand, that's what we've got. We don't chuck the bedding sand down, it's alright, but it's not as grippy as sharp sand, so we've got some sharp sand for him. There we go. These ones here are looking a bit poor, what we separated. Putting lava in their water, what's like a mineral, will help them on a bit. So when they get that Avliv cake, there's probably about 30 of them. And they're getting that barley straw too for bedding, so that should help them out well. I'll just show you the feeder a bit closer, actually. There we go, that's them eating around the feeder there. So you can get quite a few around there. He's just in the middle of the shed. And then we'll just pick up and drag it out when they start looking a bit better. But they're just looking a little, like, not so much colour about them compared to the like other ones over there. So like that, see, like that, you want them to shine up, put a bit of weight on, ready for when they go out in the spring. Because if we have a cold spring, then you know we'll turn out anyway eventually. If it goes all through April, because we'll be getting a little bit short on silage. But you want them to have good weight about them when they go out. Right, so I've just scraped all the muck in this pit, and I'm going to go out the farm now. We're going to do a few repairs. Right, so just that main dairy unit. The barns in the background here. Just walking down the muck ramp. Show you the lagoon. We just took 97 load we done. There we go, and it's dropped it about 5 foot, I reckon. We've still got plenty of muck in there, but it's going to get us through. The spring now. We've done a fence. We tore the old fence down, so we just put a new fence to get in there and back in the summer to get the sand out. So we could get it all round it with a slew then, so we just literally scrubbed the fence away for a new one now. But yeah, 97 load, dropped it about 5 foot. It's going to get us through this spring. Right, just loaded Charlie up with hay. That's the last bit of hay, and that's going up the spring calving unit. So we store the hay. We got like patches of ground all over the place, so we store the hay all over the place. So we've got a barn up here, and he's loaded up. He's going to take that out there, and then that's going to go in the dry cows. Because we've got a wet harbour week coming, we have been turfing the dry cows out in the daytime, bring them back at night so we can sweep them out and like bed them up nice and tidy and out, because we've got like stone in that in the straw. So he's going to take that hay out there, and we'll probably chuck about 6 or 7 bales in straight away. Right, whilst Charlie tracks on out there with the hay, I'm back up. We're around Calving here. I see Toby's tagged all the calves down here this morning and bedded them out. Gave him a bit of cake and fresh water. Must have been tracking on alright. Got a lot of bull calves coming through at the moment, so we like to get the bull calves gone at 2 weeks old. So then that frees that space for all the heifers. They got a few flexies there coming out. So we've got 1 or 2 a day, but the majority of them are black and white Friesians and the old Angus. So I reckon you can't beat. We've got Angus, we've got the old Limousin, Flexi, Friesians, but you can't beat, I say black and white Friesian heifers, that's what we want. And if we can't have any beef, you can't beat a Limousin really. Limousin's a nice easy calving quite a lot of time, and they make a good price at market. So, but you do, the Limousin bulls, they do get bad front feet I find, they do bruise easy. So I don't know if anybody else finds that. We've got a new bull in with her today, new Friesian bull. So he's in there somewhere tracking around. Hopefully he's working hard. Had a lot of calf last month, so that'd be ideal if we start serving him. And he'll do about a month in there and then he'll come out then. All these tractors here. This is one, we got a loader on the 175 at the moment. The 174's got a loader off, he's on the way. It's been like that for quite a long time. Usually we keep a loader off this one. But they're, it could all do with a clean out really, because they're looking a bit short. They're all relatively new tractors. We usually do a fleet, always swap in, swap out, keep it all new because we're not very good at repairing stuff. So I know with that one he could do a clean next time. I reckon he's still a bit sorry for himself and the windows are dirty. So we'll do that the next day or 2. Saturday we took a lot of slurry out. This is on the all year round calving units still. So here's one of the fields. I say about 85% of all the silage and fields on this farm. We've got some slurry out on this and good stuff. Had a good old mix up of sand and whatnot. And had a good spread. So we put, yeah, like I said, we put no fertiliser on at all, anywhere at all at the moment. Fertiliser bin is still parked up for the winter when we put it back in the autumn. The only thing we did do different this year is we put a nice fine covering over in the autumn. So and it stayed light everywhere, I suppose. It stayed green right up to now. It's only just started going yellow now. But we'll see a difference in this now. So we give a 97 load, I think it was, that Lagoon, and we've spread it over probably about 230 acres. So that's probably about 75%. We try to do about 330 acres first cut on this farm, and then second cut's not so big, and then third cut is like whatever you get. Sometimes it's big, sometimes it's small, and then we just do whole crop after that. And then we buy maize in quite often on this farm, but we might grow a bit this year. We'll see what it's like. We'll see if we've got any fields while one ripping up and whatnot. But it's quite a hard farm to grow on because it's so bloody wet. It's like, you know, if you plant it well in the spring, it's getting it off in the autumn. You have to go for early variety, but then still, you miss your window and you have a wet one. That's it. So I'm just going around shutting all the gates everywhere on the silage fields. They're shut off for a bit, well, until we chuck fertiliser on. What'll be end of this week, next week, we'll see what weather's like. Another field we've done here. Spread over it, nice bit of grass out in the fields, actually. Too much really, you've got a sheep out on it. Got the wild bird seed here. So we're mid-tier on this farm. That wild bird seed's done well all winter actually, it's done well in summer. So we can nearly finish and feed it off in the spring if the spring comes good. We've got to do 12 acres of that on this farm, so it's in that. I think that there could stay, but we've got to change where we put the rest of the stuff, so it's finding a plot again somewhere else. I think we've got to change. We've got some what you've got to do every spring and then some in the autumn every 2 years. So we'll have to find a new patch for that this year. Spring unit this afternoon. Cows have been going out at night for about 4 or 5 days in the dry weather. So we've had them on that back latch. I think I showed that in the video when it's all electric wire up here, and we got really big fields and they're split into 5 acre paddocks. So I think the whole farm, 500 acres, is about 5 fields, but it's split up in their 32 paddocks. So anyway, they've been going on out, and then the back latch has been opening up about 2 o'clock in the morning. They've been coming in for silage and having a sit down. But tonight they're going to stay in all night. So these are in here. We've got 3 sheds like this for the milkers. The dry cows are still on the big sheds there. Getting the dry cows right down now though, because when we feed them, some days we haven't got to feed them because there ain't as many in there. They're sorted. I'm just going to go in the parlour and have a look. Cows on self-feed all around. Cows gone out of the parlour at the moment. So we've got 3 of us in this parlour in the afternoons at the moment. About 3/4 of the way through, I go on out and start feeding calves when we've got enough milk. But some of the heifers are a little bit dodgy this year, a little bit hard to put on, they kick off. So that's why we need a lot of people in the parlour. Some years it's easy. Last year was nice and straightforward. This year they're a little bit flighty. I put it down to mag. We're putting plenty of mag around at the moment. This side here, walking out. Got dump buckets on the go at the moment, colostrum cows. So we don't have a colostrum group because we haven't got the space. So when they were all out in the fields we could have, but we did think the wet weather might come back, the wintry weather, so we didn't split them up. So that's why we use a lot of dump buckets on it. Bit of hard work, but then like, what can you do? If you ain't got the space, you have to do it, don't you? When we start off milking in this parlour in the spring, the heifers come in a little bit smaller than the milking cows. And what we've got to do is at the front of the parlour, we've got a rump rail in front of the feeders. There's the heifer here. There's a rump rail there in front of that feeder. And what we do is we push it out a bit so they can't move about as much, and it pushes them in there. And we also do that when we're TV testing. We put the rump rail right out, to squish them in a bit tighter, and then we can TV test. And that's coming up, I think, like end of next week. We've got TV test. So what I'm doing is still putting mag mineral in the cake here. You see that? Stuffing it in. I think they are lacking mag this year. Milk fevers, we've had a lot more milk fevers this year than we have any other year, I think. 2019 was the last bad year we had milk fevers. So this year's been another bad year. There's a line up there. And then Emma's just hosing out there and Tim's going to let next side in. So 24 cows inside. Heifers come in this parlour nice and easy. I'll just show you a minute. So we're so open. We're so open on the front. See here. Heifers just walk in nice and easy, and it's always light in there. In the summer we don't have no lights on in that parlour. So what do we? We've got a few heifers there about to walk in. Yellow tail tapes are freshly calved cows, what we hold back. And then we've got a pump in the parlour, what pumps the milk straight into that milk trolley over there. And then I've got a pump on that milk trolley, and I'll go and feed all the calves in a minute. Heifer here, just calves this afternoon. 2 there actually. Orange one's a heifer, and the one behind is a 3rd time calver. That is a 2019 born cow. And then you've got a 2021 heifer there. Born. Real little calf there, you can see. Right, so this is the setup. I've got a long pipe, goes off to the calf shed, reaches over the whole lot. I've just got this pump here on the front, and he goes into the tank there. Milk's in here. It's a milk. 50 teat feeder. I'm not using a teats at all at the moment until we get some decent weather. Got the electric going to the battery of the gator. The only downside is I've got to leave the gator running all the time because the battery will wear out. But it's not a big problem. So he's there, and I carry all my trolls and that in there, and strap on the side. So I'll just feed some calves in there. Turn the pump on. He is a special pump, so he dies down when he's on all the time, so I can't leave it on. I ain't got to keep running back to turn it off. Right. There you go. He's fast too, look at that. Calves there. Sure they're stuck in. Got another lot on the go there. Big ones there. I just got to whip through all them and feed them, and then I got another 60 out round the corner. So, there we go. I'm ready for next pen out. Put them in there. And just check and make sure they all jump out. Whilst I'm waiting for those to drink, just gonna make sure everything's all alright. Just got newborn ones here. These are the costing ones, these and these. So these I'll give these like, most of them are getting 2.5 litres a day at the moment. When they get about a week old like this, I start snapping about 3 litres to them, even more if they're looking really strong. These are looking pretty strong, really thirsty and hungry.